And we're live.
Hey.
Hi.
I don't believe you.
Bonus.
I really don't believe
you.
you.
Don't believe us. Okay.
Well, we're here.
Well, we didn't ask you.
Okay, well, too bad.
Oh.
Too bad anyway.
Special guest, because I'm sure he's not going to talk until we introduce him. I brought a friend along today. This is Tony Wilson. I don't know where he's in the channel. He's below me right now, though.
Somewhere. Hello. Yes, thank you for doing that, because it's true. Guests, I'm one of those guests who I'll wait till you introduce me. So I appreciate not having to sit in front of everybody quietly for 2.5 to 3 minutes.
You need to suffer.
appreciate
That is
it.
your punishment for joining us.
But yes, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, Tony's a friend of mine. Right now, though, if you want to get to know Tony, he has a cool YouTube channel. Don't go watch it at the moment because you're watching this. But
No, leave the podcast right now.
No, don't.
Yeah,
don't
we'll
do that.
wait. It's okay.
Sit through all the
We're
ad
here.
breaks.
We're patient.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Watch the ads twice, then go to Tony's channel. But Tony, why don't you tell us a little about yourself and your background and your cool channel?
Sure. Well, I've been covering games for longer than you might think looking at me, I guess. Yeah, so presently I've started a YouTube channel. Started it in November last year, called Framework, and the purpose of the channel is to look at parts of games that people tend to overlook. So I wanted to talk about the games that people are still talking about it, but hopefully come from an angle that some people aren't necessarily talking about. So for example, the latest video is on Hitman 3. And specifically, so I think a good number of people have picked up on, hey, these games are actually really funny, and I'm not quite sure why, they just are. So this latest video, I wanted to, explain the joke, so to speak, like break down, okay, conceptually, why is Hitman funny? And doing that by comparison to the Three Stooges, of which I'm a massive fan. So that's the latest video. I've done videos on Demon Souls, Bug Snacks, Hades, Crash Bandicoot, and a lot more to come. So yeah, if you are into the video essay deal, that's pretty much where I operate. And yeah, I'm doing some stuff that I think is pretty cool. And if you want to come check it out, please do so. Hang out. It's a positive place. Come by and have fun. See what's going on.
Yeah.
Right on. Hell yeah. I think I've seen, Paul, are you dropping these in the chat? What are these?
Yeah, this
Nice.
is.
Yeah, you're dropping links to it.
This is a channel, yeah. So I have watched all your videos. Which one was your favorite one to make?
Oh, to make. Interesting. I mean, probably just at this point, I guess the first one, just because it was the first one, right? There's that freshness to it.
Yeah.
But certainly there isn't one. I wouldn't say any are my favorite as far as a final product, because you want to put all you can into each one, right? And in each one, you want to be able to stand on its own. But yeah, in terms of making them, probably just the first, because it was new and fresh and exciting, and still is. It hasn't been around very long.
Demon Souls. Yeah, that's a good one for sure.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of which, Paul, how'd you like that third episode of WandaVision?
I mean, it just baited me up for the fourth one tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm hooked. They're finally teasing stuff hardcore.
Yeah, there's a few theories going around, and all of them are great. They could go a lot of ways with it for sure. So I'm excited.
Well, what's
see.
her name is in Captain Marvel 2, right? So they're already, linking some stuff too.
Yeah, and people have already started making guesses because of people that are in the credits for the show that haven't appeared fully on film. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of meta theories going on as well. Yeah, they're all great.
I don't want to have anything to do with that. I don't want to get spoiled. Just want to enjoy it. I feel like this is a show that's going to be better when they're all out. You should binge it. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting. There's no way I have the self-restraint to do that. But,
yeah.
Kind of my thought about that.
I definitely think you could watch the first three now and be like, all right, I'm ready for the next one, because they still haven't explained away anything yet, and they kind of built up a bunch. There hasn't been that catharsis. They haven't let it go yet. So you could still probably catch up and be part of the big oh shit moment when that inevitably happens, as it is right now. But yeah, I'm ready for that balloon to pop and to get some answers for sure.
I wanted to mention one more show before we get into our show. And I'm late to the party on this one, but I just started Nathan For You last night.
That's an amazing show.
Anyone a fan of Nathan For You here?
Love it. Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
We watched the first 3 or 4 episodes. I can't remember exactly. That gas station rebate one is so far my favorite. That is
okay.
It's very enjoyable.
I don't remember what's part of which episode. I really like the shit ice cream. I thought that was just like
that's the very first episode. I actually did
okay.
not really like that one.
That's just such a dumb idea. And the fact that he got them to do it is amazing to me.
Yeah. No, for those who don't know, Nathan For You, and apparently it's like just me. This guy goes around and gives marketing advice to small businesses, but he comes up with just like the silliest ideas. And then they just give it a try for a whole episode, and it is. If you like awkward humor, this is like right up your alley.
Sure.
So that's kind of my thing. I'm right now.
It's one of those things I wonder how they're able to keep making it. You know, it's like they somehow pulled off a Borat in 2020.
Yeah.
And like pulling off Nathan For You still in 2020 and into 2021 is like very impressive.
Oh, is it still going? I thought it ended.
They filmed I believe there's still some unaired stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, if I remember, maybe it's aired since I saw that headline, but regardless, like to be able to pull it off at all a couple seasons in is very impressive.
For sure. Yeah.
Great show.
I'm looking forward to watching more of it. I'll probably watch some more of it after we're done here. But
yeah,
what we are here for is to do the top-down perspective because it's January 28th. And I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
I'm John Wheeler.
And that's Tony Wilson.
Oh, should I say my name too? Sorry, somebody said I should tell John that he's the coolest, so I'm doing that now. Or that he said, tell Proton John he's my favorite. So there you go. Someone a fan of your streaming, I assume.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, it's just his mom texting him.
Yeah. Oh, my mom or his mom? Is my mom texting him? That's impressive.
Both of them.
This is actually, I'm on here. It's actually a ransom. I was like, I have your mom's number. You will have me on the show.
Okay, yeah, that explains it all. Mom, you gotta stop listing your fucking number on Craigslist. Goddamn.
Yeah, sorry. I'm Tony. I'm also here.
Right. Let's John, you've been the quietest, so why don't you tell us what you've been playing?
Sure. I've been playing 2 different games. I started playing Touhou Spell Bubble last night on stream and kind of got hooked on it, honestly. So it is Bust a Move or Puzzle Bobble, if you're familiar with that series. But now it's a rhythm game.
Okay.
So it's themed over Touhou, like the bullet hell game series, all those characters. But it's a rhythm game where you're still playing proper Bust a Move. You have to match up 3 colors in a row, and the more you get, like the more points you clear, and you send garbage to your opponent. But it has rhythm game mechanics to it where the stages you play on are actually songs from Touhou. And whichever one you pick dictates the BPM of the song and obviously the length of the stage because it's the length of the song. You don't lose by having your screen fill up and going to the bottom. You send all your points, your remaining bubbles to your opponent as points. It's actually a point-based system now. Where you score points by killing your opponent and stealing whatever remaining bubbles they had on their screen, or by getting your rhythm correct whenever you pop 5 or more pieces. There's like a little like OS or Elite Beat Agent style like circle that shows up. And if you time it correctly, you get bonus points for that. And you build up meter to use supers. There are spell moves you can use to fuck with the other player or to help yourself out if you get in trouble. It's a weirdly deep version of Bubble Bobble, and it might actually be my favorite version of the game at the moment.
So wait, are you like shooting the ball?
It's still like
yeah. Is that how it goes?
No, you don't even have to do that. It's literally like whenever you pop 5 or more, a little rhythm mini game shows up, and you just have to time things correctly. And if you do it right, you get bonus points, and you get to send extra garbage to your opponent.
So are you keeping to the beat at all times, or just when you enter that little mini game?
Just when you enter that mode.
Okay. Because I would almost wonder if it's like almost easier to play if you can just like get into a rhythm as opposed to like just sending garbage as fast as you can, you know, or making combos as fast as you can.
As far as I'm aware of, like I'm still playing through it. I haven't gotten unlocked everything yet, but no, you don't need to play to the rhythm until you're in the actual rhythm mode. Otherwise, it's puzzle bobble, bust a move, whatever you want to call it. But they only give you 3 colors to worry about, so it's a lot more simple, and you can switch between 2. You'll have one that's loaded into your gun, and you'll have one in the one that's coming up next. You can swap between the 2, and you'll always go through the 3 colors in order. So if you shoot a blue, your next 2 colors are guaranteed to be yellow and red, and then when you shoot one of those, the next color is guaranteed to be blue, and so on. So it's pretty strategic. But every character has like an innate ability, and then they have spell cards they can choose, and everyone has a couple different spell cards. Like, let me see here. Let me quickly go into a mode so I can.
I'm looking at some screenshots. How do these anime girls compare to those little dinosaur guys?
They've got a lot of history comparatively to Bub and Bob. So obviously Touhou's not been around as long, but it definitely has more popularity at the moment. So it makes sense. Yeah, like one character, their innate ability is it'll display where your bubble's going to land. Another character's ability, sometimes it'll shoot out a paint bubble, which turns the bubbles around it into the same color you shot it with. Another character will turn randomly the bubbles in their area blue, so they have bigger combos. And a bunch of other abilities like that. They'll just send out special abilities, stuff like that. Then when you pick a character, they have a spell card you can attach to that as well. And there's 3 every character gets. One character has, change the bubbles of an area to yellow in a V shape. So you just clear out most of your board if you're in trouble, but it takes 90 seconds to charge up that ability. Another character has turn your opponent's bubbles green randomly, so it completely screws up combos. Green is a fourth color, so you don't even have that one originally. So you basically force the player to have another color to deal with. Another character literally makes you do it with 5 colors. Like it's just weird little things like that mix up the mechanics of Bust a Move, and honestly, I really like it.
That sounds really cool. Are any of them like OP? Because anytime I think about like a battle puzzle game like this, I think of Tetris Battle Gaiden, and there's like the infamous Ninja
Gaiden's
Kid
great.
who has, but there's that ninja. I think it's the Ninja Kid who has that power where
the ninja's
like,
good,
you have to
and
clear lines twice, which is just it's broken compared to the others.
Yeah, Jack-o'-lantern's pretty busted too because they're the one that puts holes in all your lines.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, like a lot of people, there's like 3 or 4 characters that are super broken in Battle Gaiden. So, but yeah, so far, the most busted one has been. Oh no, that's a lie. I'd argue there's 2 that have been pretty broken. One was the fact that the player could force you to deal with 5 colors at once instead of 3, so game's more complex. And the second was one character could send up empty bubbles, which are like, empty bubbles are normally when they are the garbage blocks you send. They have no color, but when you hit them with a bubble, they turn into whatever color you hit them with. This one character has an ability that sends out 8 knives onto your board. And they spin around, and whatever direction they're pointing at, they point left and right. They will fill up that line, column, or row with empty bubbles. So basically, they can make it so that your entire board is full of garbage, and you just have to keep shooting at it to try to do anything. So you get no combos during that, which means you don't get any extra points. So, but there's also another 12 characters I haven't fought yet. And there's DLC characters and stories and songs, but like this game has a ridiculous amount of DLC for cost wise. Like it's $90 for the DLC right now, Canadian, and it's not done. They're still adding more. Like this game is only like 5 months old, maybe.
Is it 90 like Canadian bucks worth of value?
If you like the music, yes. If you like the game, definitely, because you're getting stages each time.
Okay.
So yeah, I would argue if you're into it, yeah.
Sure.
Other than that, I've also been playing what looks to be like most of us have been playing this time around, Cyber Shadow. This is the new game that Yacht Club Game has published out, done by Mechanical Head. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm kind of on
it's
that
Yacht Club
with
Games.
you.
I was thinking it's I was thinking it's the Messenger developers, but that's probably just because ninjas. So,
no.
Yeah, it's a similar aesthetic, but Yacht Club published. But Mechanical Head is it's like one dude, who did everything but the music.
This is impressive for a one dude project. Honestly, it is an okay game. I do like it, but it's funny you mentioned the Messenger because this is just an inferior version of the Messenger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cyber Shadow also have like a good shopkeeper, or
no? I mean,
Man.
keeping the writing in Messenger is way better. But actually, I'm interested in the story of Cyber Shadow so far. I'm not done it. I'm almost done. I think the game says I'm 90% done the game. I'm about to start chapter 9.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
How short is this game? Because Paul, you finished it like 100%. You were saying.
Yeah. I took 8 hours because the 100. You do replays basically to get 100%.
I'm at 6 hours right now. Yeah, and you have to get 100%. You have to go back to stages with new abilities. So
I need to ask you both a question.
Okay.
Sorry. What's up with chapter 7? It's locked out for me.
Okay, so that happened to you too. I thought that was a glitch.
Oh, interesting.
No spoilers.
I'm just about to finish chapter 6, so this is
okay.
Yeah, what's up?
What happened? I don't know. I was wondering if I screwed something up. It was like, did I miss a thing? But I have 100%
from 6 to 8, or what?
I don't even know.
So you do chapter 7, but it's I think the only chapter that doesn't have a title card appear. And then when you use the fast travel system, it also doesn't have a gate.
It locks you out or something, and it says unknown.
Yeah, so I think I know what's happening here. So you guys play Assassin's Creed 2? Because in Assassin's Creed 2, they took out like chapters 13 and 14, and you just skip over them, and then they sell them to you as DLC, and it's like, yo, that's kind of messed up.
Dude, I was kind of thinking that.
You definitely play chapter 7. It's like literally like when you go in there, I think something says it's the outskirts or something like that, or like an NPC says it.
Oh,
but when you go to fast travel, you can't get there. It says it's like it just says unknown, as in like you've never been there. But chapter 8, which is literally right next to it, says the name of the stage, but it also, story reasons you can't go back there. So it's weird.
I guess I'm gonna find out for myself like not long after we wrap this, because I just finished the train ride, which I think is like maybe the midpoint of getting up to chapter
you're actually
7.
literally about to start.
Is that the beginning of chapter 7? Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying the game myself. Just as like sort of like a scaled back, smaller experience. Just because those are less common nowadays when it comes to like in the indie scene there's more of them, right? But there are so many ridiculously large games that I don't mind something that's very stripped back like this. And I do, it does very much wear its influences on its sleeve. Like I like the Mega Man influence in the bosses I'm enjoying. I like anytime I get a good like lineup of bosses, I'm into it. Right. Like I want to know more, like, why are all these dudes friends and why are they against me? Like that stuff's interesting to me. But the one thing I really want to dig into more, and this is separate from actually playing the game, is that the developer created it because they were a Nintendo ROM hacker for a couple years.
Yeah.
And then I guess decided, actually, maybe I can just do this. And so I really want to like just kind of dig into that more, because I think that's a really cool story.
Yes.
That's neat. And I find it interesting that you tie it to Mega Man, because that's also what I've been tying it to. And that is actually part of the reason I've had a disdain for the game, is that I feel it doesn't take enough from its influences. Playing the game, you can feel like it's influenced from Ninja Gaiden, Strider, and Shatterhand. Those are the big 3 I feel like it does. But you're right. It also does things for Mega Man. Some of the upgrades that you get, specifically, that's when I feel the game starts falling apart for me, is the upgrades. Because specifically Dash has kind of annoyed me.
The dash is terrible.
I find that the counter, I was not a particularly big fan of the way you
that too. Counter and dash.
If only because their inputs are so similar that it's easy to, you can screw up with the dash / counter a bunch without like even intending to, which would technically help you, but it's weird. It's one of those things, like sometimes you execute accidentally, but when you really need to, you can't quite get it right.
Yeah. No, I disabled double tap the dash. That's literally an option in the menu.
Yeah.
That as soon as they both needed the same input, I'm like, this is gone. I hate this.
Yeah. Does it change it to a button? Because I did notice that option, but I didn't try it.
Running is mapped to a button, but parrying is still forward on the D-pad.
Okay.
Yeah. So and for some reason it's mapped to like R1. So I moved it to R2, and it's way better on that.
Okay.
It's way better.
So what are you playing on PS5?
Switch.
Okay. Yes, I'm also playing on Switch, but I just do the
It's on Game Pass, guys. If you want it for kind of
that is true to say. I've been playing it on just this little guy. So
okay, yeah.
Slightly.
Yeah, no, like the running is it's so weird because like playing it, there's just little things I feel like it's missing, and it's little things that start adding up. Because I recognize it's still like an enjoyable game, but it's an enjoyable game that other games have done better recently, if that makes sense. Like I was having a discussion last night on stream. Shovel Knight, Messenger, and Cyber Shadow are the 3 best examples of faux retro, of like basically taking old style retro and reimagining it in a way. Yeah. And I would struggle to put first and second between Shovel Knight and Messenger. I'd probably lean Messenger more because that's what I like game wise. But like Cyber Shadow is definitely a distant third to those 3, so it feels weird as a result. But yeah, no, it just it feels like it takes some of the wrong lessons from retro games and just kind of exasperates them a little bit. Like
I will say, I'm never a fan. One of my biggest pet peeves with any game, and this is just kind of a retro holdover, is the you touch an enemy, you take damage. Like I hate that so much, and like that's the way it was for some time. And so I understand, like, if you're making that kind of game, you want to emulate that. But then I think of something like Dead Cells, which is like, it takes cues from it. It does not try to be a retro game in any way. But Dead Cells is like, you don't get damaged unless an enemy is attacking you. Otherwise, move around. So like, I really, when it's touch an enemy coupled with knockback, I'm not a fan of that. But but I understand why it's in there. I might not like it, but I do understand why that choice was made.
Yeah, and I respect that because again, like Ninja Gaiden is one of my favorite NES games, so that game is notorious for its knockback. Like, but again, I feel like they took the wrong lessons again because you can get knocked back, but you can get thrown into spikes which instant kill you.
There's a lot of like spike levels.
Yeah, there is a lot of spike levels. Yeah, which is
you're a chapter 9. Choice. You just got out of like the worst chapter in the game. Then I think. Oh wait.
No, I just did the I don't want to say it because he's not there yet. I don't want to say it. We're
also not there.
Did you do the factory though? There's spikes everywhere.
I did. That's like
I think
5 or 6. I've done the factory. So
yeah, okay, and it just like gets worse. A lot of that level design is based on you dashing through enemies and getting across like fucked up gaps, and then if you take damage, you're just dead. And some of the checkpointing is super weird too, and it's weird because
checkpointing is bad.
There's good checkpointing at the beginning of the game, and then it's really bad later when you need better checkpointing. Yeah. It's weird. Yeah.
I feel like I have a similar gripe with this than I did with Streets of Rage 4, where I feel like if it just gets tweaked just a little bit, it'll answer most of my issues, and it's definitely like a stronger recommendation at that point.
Sure.
But I don't like with this being like a one-man job, basically, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this.
Yeah.
I think Jakob's really only going to step in to fix like any like super game breaking glitches. That's about it.
Yeah.
As Sean pointed out though, like it is part of Game Pass. So like, if you want to check it out, there's no reason not to.
Yeah. I definitely for Game Pass, extremely recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I plan to play it like this week. So
yeah. This just wasn't what I wanted out of it, which bummed me out of it. I still say it's a good game, but it definitely is harder than it needs to be to get that retro aesthetic across, and just some of the controls conflict with each other, specifically like the dashing, the parrying, and just that in general. I hate the fact that the dashing isn't like Mega Man because you can't dash off walls.
Yep.
And if you stop moving forward in midair at all, you lose your run.
Yep.
Which means you also lose your forward slash attack, which is the main reason you use the dash for in midair. So
and they built the level around you having that later on. Like, you need it.
There's just a bunch of there's weird decisions that could easily just be slightly tweaked and patched, and then it's a stronger recommendation. It's just small things that keep it from being great.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like I wanted the Messenger again, and this is definitely not that. And I feel like I let myself down in some way by expecting more.
I'm exactly in the same way. This is literally making me just want to go back and play the Messenger instead.
It made me want to go back and play the Messenger as well. Yeah.
That's pretty much all I've been playing other than stream stuff.
Play that DLC for the Messenger.
The DLC
is it's good. It's not great.
It was more Messenger. So
yeah.
All right, Paul, why don't you continue?
I finally played Donut County. That was also on Game Pass, so I took an afternoon and played through that. It's adorable. I don't know what you say about it. There's holes everywhere, The raccoons talk like they're typing to you each other the whole time, and it's great.
Yeah. That's
so
another
good. The
great
writing
Game Pass
the writing's
recommend.
funny. BK's, yeah, it just came to Game Pass, so definitely check it out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so
That's
much
supposed
fun.
to play it. That's one of the only. I hate saying this because I really enjoyed it. That is one of the only times that I finished a game and just thought that was too short. I want more of this.
Yeah.
Because it's. I think I was done it in like 90 minutes.
Yeah.
That's about
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a really cool concept. I genuinely wish there were just more of it. But yeah, for Game Pass, absolutely pick that up. Like you said, play it in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's super satisfying too, in a weird primitive way of just making things fall through a hole. It's really good.
it's like it's reverse Katamari.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's the same neuron firing that Katamari gives you of like, this is just so satisfying, just destroying stuff.
Yeah. And then every once in a while you get cool kind of like combinations of like, oh, if I take the stove first, then I can use the heat from the stove to like, fill up this balloon or whatever.
Or to like make popcorn in this fiery chasm that I made. Or it's neat. Very cute game.
Did you go through the what they call it, but the like encyclopedia and like read any of those entries?
Yeah, but I don't remember any that stand out currently. I just like read them and I was like, oh, that's cute. The Trashopedia.
Yeah, the Trashopedia. They just have a lot of fun descriptions for all the like normal stuff you put down there. So it's definitely worth a look.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like Pikmin when you pick up like an ordinary object, but since they don't know what it is, their description of it is so like wildly different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cute game. If you have Game Pass, you should just check it out for sure. If you have Game Pass, you should just check out Cyber Shadow. It's a solid 7. I wish it was a 9.
Your whole list is Game Pass, my dude.
Yeah. Speaking of Game Pass,
is Medium also?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that
Today,
was Game Pass.
This morning,
must be a Game Pass debut then, right? Because it just came out.
Yeah. So the Medium. So I'm playing this on PC. It came out on Game Pass. It's very clearly optimized for console because it's stuttery and kind of shitty in some parts on PC. I haven't been having the troubles that some people have been having, which is nice because some people that have been having troubles have way better systems than I do. So I don't know what that's all about, but I'm having an okay time with it so far. It's very Silent Hill in how it's just creepy ambient stuff going on, and you're just kind of like trying to figure out or puzzle together what's going on in this weird like hotel essentially that you're stuck in.
Gotta ask.
Yeah.
I downloaded it. I'm noted Frady Cat.
Yeah.
Am I gonna be able to play this game? Scary is this game?
I would say it's scarier than Alan Wake, but probably the least scary Bloober Team game so far.
Okay. Well, I've played Alan Wake. Of the examples you gave me.
Bloober Team is that's the Layers of Fear people, right?
Layers of Fear. Blair Witch was the last game they did.
Right.
I personally liked Observer. That was my favorite from them. But yeah, they just do atmospheric horror type stuff. So yeah, this is the game that if people don't remember because it's kind of a bad title, it's the game that they showed that is rendering 2 versions of the same level at one time, and it does this weird split screen thing.
Oh,
yeah,
that one. Okay.
I want to play it. Like, it looks cool and it looks really nice, like visually. So it's like, I'm gonna play it on console. Apparently that's the way to play it, you were saying, but I just don't like scary games. So
it has like the full HDR like experience and the ray tracing and all that good stuff to get all the creepiness. I will say when it splits into the like normal world and the hell world or the medium world or whatever that she's in, my brain explodes and I don't know which one to concentrate on. So it's just like, oh my god, what am I doing? And like, because my brain is trying to do both at the same time, and there are parts where you kind of need to, because in the normal world you have to do a thing and then you like switch over to like the spirit world or whatever to continue on that you can't do in the normal world, and there's a little bit of play there, and that's really cool stuff, but it destroys my brain and also my processor. It is pretty intensive in a lot of ways.
I have to imagine, if they're rendering essentially double the level every time, that's wow.
And like it splits between them at will, and you can like push a button to focus only on the spirit world for a little bit to kind of like, it's called an out of body experience, where like the normal version, your main character's name is Marianne, is just like standing there in the real world, and then your ghost form is just kind of running around doing stuff, but like it's limited time, and then like it just goes back to the split thing. And every now and then you get locked out of one or the other, and you have to find ways to kind of like go back and forth. So there's really good puzzly horror elements in there. I wouldn't say it's scary, but like be prepared to be chased and to like hide from a monster that's saying creepy shit at you every now and then. Not a whole lot of jump scares, I would
Does
say.
it have anything like Grounded does, where if I'm afraid of spiders, I can make them not scary anymore?
I mean,
Probably not.
there's not spiders, but there's a lot
so.
of moths. Are you scared of moths? There's a lot of those.
I don't think I'm scared of moths, but I won't put it past me.
You should try it.
Sean's learning a lot about himself today.
It sounds like I'm about to learn a lot about myself while trying to play the media. So
yeah,
see.
Yeah, it's a cool game. I can't wait to finish it. I heard it's very short. I'm only about 3.5 hours in. People are saying that they finished it in about 8 or 9, and that's like taking their time. That you could probably do it way quicker. But I like looking around there and reading all the different notes and stuff. I think it's a cool game. I definitely think if you're a Silent Hill fan, you owe it to yourself to at least take a look at it, for sure. It does that atmospheric horror thing in a way that a lot of games don't anymore, and I think that's really cool. That's all I've been playing, though, myself.
All right, Tony, what else have you been playing?
Well, I know you and I have both been playing that Hitman 3. Subject of my latest video. Yeah, it's a good one. Subject of the most recent Framework video. But I would have played it regardless. Because man, that's just that recent trilogy, that reboot trilogy, whatever you want to call it. It's just been just some top notch, just submersive diorama type level design that I
World
can't
of
get enough of it.
you might say.
Yeah.
Where would you rank
real
it
good.
out of the trilogy?
So it's interesting. I was having a different conversation like this the other night with a friend. I don't know that I could or necessarily want to rank them as whole games, but I think you can definitely just like pick favorite maps. Because there's definitely, I think some of them can be really polarizing. Like I really like the Dubai map. I think that's a really great like kind of opening thing, easy to grasp and figure out your way through. The Dartmoor map is excellent, but it should almost be in its own category because it's almost like a reverse mission in some ways.
I mean, I would say the same thing about Dubai. Those are kind of the two that are the most different. And hey, if you're not going to rank it, I'll say it. I think it's the worst of the three.
Really? Okay.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed my whole time with it. Its focus on story, I feel, just kind of pulls it away from what I really loved about those last two. I mean, I like story. I enjoyed the more story focused levels. I just didn't feel like there was any stages as good as the last two games, or like as big or as sprawling.
Yeah. Well, your first time in any of the stages is like pure story based. Like there's some. I think this is true of all 6. Like, or I mean, the last map's a little different, of course, but like you have to go in and exit a certain way. Like I noticed, I realized this maybe in like the 3rd or 4th stage where I realized like, oh, wait a minute, you have to use this particular exit because it's story based. Therefore, you don't even get the challenge for leaving at one of the particular exits, even though you are like in the Dartmoor level, you are you have to. There's a challenge for exiting on the motorcycle. And that is by default the one you have to do the first time. But because you're leaving for story reasons that time, it doesn't count as doing the challenge. So there is some weird stuff like that where you're like, wait, I thought I already did this. Okay. You did, but it was for the story. So do it again for the challenge. Like there is some weird stuff like that. But the first 2 maps, I love them. The Berlin map might be my least favorite out of all 3 games. I really don't like it.
It's kind of like so that's the one that's like the most different. Is that why you're?
Yeah. Well, so at least the first time that I played it, I really didn't like it because, first of all, I don't think the layout's that great. But for I will give the premise of the mission like as spoiler free as I can. You have to take out a certain number of targets out of like a certain total, and when you first go in, you don't know who you have to also identify those targets, right? Like the first time you're in, you don't know who they even are. They're not too hard to pick out of a crowd, but you still have to figure out who they are. And to me, the fun of Hitman is I can see my targets at all times. How do I get there? Some things are off limits to me. So how do I get there? How do I negotiate my way through this things? What disguises do I need? That's the challenge. But for the Berlin level, because your targets aren't assigned at first, you're at like a double disadvantage where you don't know where you need to go, nor what you need to actually access those areas. So at least the first time through, I really hated it, frankly. I'm gonna revisit it soon, because I want to master them all. But the first time through, really did not like it.
It is the most different. Like it's gonna make you think about how to play this game in a way you haven't
Yeah,
for every single other stage.
yeah,
And I mean, I think that is cool. It is the third game in that they're doing something new. I
yeah.
also feel like they probably showed this level as, hey, let us make a Bond game. Look what we just did with this Berlin stage.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. Mechanically, I get they're doing something different there. I'm just, I wasn't too big on it. But you mentioned Bond. Yeah, I mean, you just imagine any of these three games with a Bond skin, and like, yeah, that's exactly what I want from a 007 game, and I can't wait for that.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. I also think the every mission, every level has only like 3 story missions, and those are the things I love doing.
Mhm,
Is the little
mhm,
breadcrumb trail, do the story
mhm.
mission, and it sets me up to do something dumb. There's only 3 for each one, whereas the last games there was like 6 or 7.
Yeah, that's true. There were a lot more
Yeah,
previously.
I feel like the stages are just smaller in scope for whatever
Mm.
reason this time around. And that's just, and like for example, the Chongqing level looks gorgeous. Oh my gosh, it looks so good.
That's probably the best looking level of any of them, I gotta say.
It's
It's very,
really good
like, Blade
looking.
Runner 2049.
When you go after you do it the first time with like the core, you have like no reason to ever go back into like that facility really. So it's like
Mm.
so it's like half the stage is like, I mean, you could go in there, but there's no real reason to. So that's just kind of a bummer as well. But anyway, I still really like it. Just I like the other 2 more. So
Yeah, yeah. But, certainly if you enjoyed the first 2, obviously, you'll enjoy the 3rd because it's more of that really solid gameplay that they built up.
yeah, it's extremely good, and I love that they all just like fit together in like one package. It's just so nice to
Mhm,
jump around. That's great.
mhm, mhm.
All right, what else? You got one more game here.
Oh, I do. Yes, I do. I've also just been going back sort of for some comfort food and playing Bloodborne. Um, that game's still an absolute masterpiece. I can't, what am I going to say that's new about it? About a game that's been out for, 5+ years. Um, but yeah, going back to it, it just kind of reaffirmed to me at least, like, oh, this is the best of what they've made. Like, this is still like just such a wonderfully realized world and the stuff that they've buried and that people are still discovering, I just think is fantastic. So Bloodborne, fully recommend. If you haven't played it, but you're a PS Plus member with a PS5, you can get it on that PS Plus collection.
Big
But
collection, yeah.
yeah,
I can't
absolutely.
remember. Were you a Bloodborne fan?
Are you asking me or are you asking?
Who, me?
No.
Probably. No, I fucking
You
hate
a
that game.
Bloodborne fan?
I think it's
Oh, really?
worthless. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I
Jeez.
ask? Not to like derail of the rest of the show. Can I ask why? I'm curious because I don't know many people who
Yeah.
would say that
I
about it. Which
really
obviously to each his own. But I'm curious.
I really like the setting and stuff like that. I really
Hmm.
hate that the aggressive style they went for made it so that every boss basically has a 1 or 2 shot. Like, I just don't like the
Mm,
aggression play that they did with it. And
mm,
like, it
mhm.
wasn't as refined as like Sekiro finally made it at some point, where the
Sure.
aggression kind of fit a little bit. Like, it was kind of, I mean, the problem with Sekiro is that there's no like real good weapon play like Bloodborne has, like cool weapons. You're just kind of stuck with
Mhm.
the different ninja arts and like the katana the whole time. But just kind of the way that like that game expects you to basically be relentless, and like even in like your defense is just like you defend and then you counter right away. Where Bloodborne
Mhm.
feels like they were kind of like, we want this to be more aggressive and like bestial because it's the whole like eldritch theme of like the beast and the blood and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And they just didn't refine it yet, so it feels
Mm.
at a weird like odds with
Gotcha.
itself in a lot of the boss fights, which is a shame because I think that game has the best bosses in all of the games. I just hate doing them.
What was your play style with the Dark Souls games before this? Were you like more of a tank or a turtle kind of style, or?
I mean, at first, definitely tank in like, I would say Demon Souls and Dark Souls. Dark Souls 2, I did more of like, I can't remember what it was called. It was like the Wanderer build or something. It was basically just like two swords, essentially. And then more dodgy, I would say, in 3 in general. But I usually like to go like either a full strength build or a quality build, usually. So
I asked because I definitely was very much like tank turtle style when I played Dark Souls 1 and 2, but then when Bloodborne came along, that completely like changed that for me. Where then when after that when Dark Souls 3 came out, I was like, "Oh, I want to go rogue now." Like now I actually like want that playstyle. So like it actually I think it like accomplished what From wanted out of me. Like it got the more aggressive playstyle out of me, and then that's what I stuck with moving forward. So if, like I said, if you got PS Plus and you got a PS5, like totally give it a try if you haven't before. And I think as you demonstrated, Paul, it's not necessarily for everybody, right? Like not everybody likes it, but I can't recommend that game enough. I think it's an absolute masterpiece.
Sure.
On. Well, very similar game. I played a little game called the Little Acre. Which is like it's Don Bluth animated movies. It looks a lot like that. And it's an adventure game. It's like an hour long. It's pretty short. It is on Game Pass. If this sounds interesting to you, the kind of like the big draw for the Little Acre is it's like really nicely voice acted, and then it just has like an animation priority that you just typically don't see a lot of the time. But because very adventure game style, you're going to get these big sweeping kind of painterly landscapes, and then you need to walk around and attach like pulley to the door, and then the pulley breaks, but it gets you the key, so then you can use the key over here and yada yada. One thing that's really nice about it,
or point and click.
It's point and click, but it's not like pixel hunty, because every time you like take something out of your inventory, everything that you can interact with will light up. So it's just pretty obvious, like, oh, I can try it here. Did that one work? Nope. Did that one work? Cool. So it is very like you don't have to sit there and hope you find the thing. Whereas like on the other hand, I'm playing through There Is No Game Wrong Dimension right now, and I'll talk about that later when I finished it. But that is a very like pixel hunty kind of game. Whereas this is a lot easier to get through. And like I said, if you like Don Bluth animated movies, you'll probably get something out of this. There's a cutesy little story, and there's a great dog character in there. So maybe dog of the year, possibly. Who knows?
Very pretty.
But anyways, that's the thing. The big thing going for it is it's very nice to look at. So
yeah.
Will the game traumatize your childhood like most Don Bluth movies?
There is a pretty scary enemy that like halfway through it. So maybe I can't say one way or the other. But that's the Little Acre. Once again, it's on Game Pass, so definitely check that out.
Cool.
All right, let's do some news. Some weird stuff happened. I say we start with this GameStop thing because it's like the biggest one, even though it's like video game adjacent.
Yeah, we have to talk about this. We really do.
I feel like we have to just because GameStop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Half of us work there.
And half of us worked there at one point. Yes, that's true. So people didn't know GameStop's
half of us work for the one that sounds very similar.
That's true. Yeah, true as well. GameStop's stock exploded due to the Wall Street Bets subreddit just wanting to see if they could like game the system, and they can, and they did. I'm curious, did anyone buy stock?
No.
Girlfriend bought some stock.
Okay. Oh wow.
She did it like too late though. I think she's actually at a loss at the moment, but she's like, oh, I'm just gonna ride it out and see what happens. Like, who knows? The gist of it is though, is the stock exploded to see if they could mess with it. They could. They did.
It's a little more than that.
Yeah, it's way more than that actually. So what they did is
it started like nearly a year ago at this point, technically.
Yeah. Paul, you want to take it or want me to take it?
I mean, whatever. So the big thing here is that Reddit got word, or somebody, they started trading aggressively because there were people doing betting against GameStop. Basically, they're doing hedge funds where they were taking essentially money and stocks out to basically resell it later for a profit when the stocks go down. And basically Reddit said, no, fuck that. We're just going to pump a bunch of money into this. And then they did. And they started screwing over a lot of wealthy people. And that is hilarious. And
they actually managed to make a specific hedge fund company file for bankruptcy, but they got bailed out by other hedge funds.
Of course.
This has gotten to a point where I think the highest point it reached was 420 at least. It reached somewhere around there, if not higher.
Someone got a screenshot of 420 and 69 cents.
420, 69.
Because of course they did.
Yep.
But today is where things got more interesting because A, the White House has supposedly stepped in to try to stop all the shenanigans with this. B, all the companies that most people were using to buy their stocks, like Robinhood and I can't remember any of the other app names,
E-Trade
started locking. E-Trade is another one, started locking people out of buying those specific stocks, the ones that the Wall Street bets were actually trying to inflate.
Yep.
And C, in some cases, Robinhood was actually selling their stocks at a loss.
Yep.
Supposedly to try to balance out what was happening with the inflation on it. So there's a class action lawsuit currently being filed against Robinhood that is a part of this. It's a huge chain of events going on.
It was also, obviously, this is a gaming focused show, of course, but this is so bizarre that like you got AOC and Ted Cruz and Ben Shapiro all agreeing on needing to take some action.
AOC right now is
wow.
AOC streaming right now.
I was watching her before we went live here.
Yeah. It's a thing.
She always does it when we're doing a show.
I know.
Astronaut.
Yeah. It's ironically, with a name like Robinhood, you'd think they'd be all for something like this. But then the flip side is like, you got these people doing this short squeezing, it's called, what the Redditors were doing. The unfortunate part of it is like, for every hey, I did make a profit on this story, that you're like, good for you, good for the little guy getting some of the piece of the pie, there is a possibility that people like that good honest people's hard-earned money in some of these like hedge funds who are investing on their behalf, maybe like if your money is in one of these funds and it goes under, that's potentially your money gone like entirely. And even though it's being handled by like your Wall Street elite, so to speak, you might not be one of those people. So there may be some very unfortunate consequences of this too for the little guys still. But listen, if it gets more regulation going, it's hard to argue against that, honestly.
I mean, the other thing is nothing illegal has happened.
Right. That's the amazing thing. All this is everything Wall Street has been doing since its inception. It's just public, and the little guy is doing it, and they really don't like that.
Which is why it's like pretty ridiculous that like Robinhood stopped it, because it's like, hang on, we're not doing anything wrong. So that's just kind of messed up. One of my favorite tweets, I think, though, is when like the White House said, or I think one of the PR accounts was like, hey, the White House is looking into the GameStop business, and then the response was just, can I have a stimulus check?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah, right. People, speaking of bets, people were betting, hey, Wall Street's going to get bailed out before you get your next stimulus check. Like that's what's going to happen, because we still think
that's going to happen. Let's be
right, because people still think Wall Street has anything to do with the actual well-being of the country. Because look into it, folks. It really doesn't. It has nothing to do with it. Your retirement accounts are there, and that's important. But for unemployment and the actual things that matter, it has nothing to do with Wall Street. Nothing.
I would love to be a fly on the wall for a meeting at GameStop HQ when this started happening, and they had to talk about it. Because like, what are they saying? Like, we're back. Like this one guy being like, we did it. We're back. I told you guys. This game.
Yeah.
Whereas someone else much smarter is sitting there being like, this means nothing. Nothing has changed.
Yeah.
But the number.
There's a great there. I mean, this whole thing is like, it's a meme with real consequences, right? But it is like, meme, whatever. the photo that was getting passed around that I really liked was it was a shot of like Big Bird in
Yeah.
an executive room, and it just said GameStop sitting with the other Fortune 500 companies.
Yeah, that was my
I saw
favorite.
that. I literally laughed out loud and saved that. That is such a good picture.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just
So
want
good.
that picture for other
Yeah.
uses too. I'm like,
So
this is
good. I'm gonna
great.
use it all the time. Anytime I feel out of place
Yeah.
in like a Slack conversation, I'm just gonna post that. It me.
Yeah.
So good.
But yeah, it'll be it's very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens here, like what action gets taken. Like, man, we really put Biden on hard mode as soon as he got in there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. I have a coworker, like a distant coworker of mine's son apparently is playing it and has made it $45,000 as of yesterday.
Good for him.
Jesus.
So
All right, there's half of your college or whatever. That's great.
All right, more focused on games. Let's talk about this Xbox Live pricing stuff. This happened like within like 24 hours. This went up, then this came down. This was like on Friday. Xbox Live announced, and to preface this, a few months back they stopped selling year memberships. You can no longer buy a year membership like card anymore. You could only do like the 3-month, 6-month like that. So they increased the 6 months membership by like double. Basically, you would be looking at $60 for 6 months. So you're looking at $120 for the year. The 1 month and the 3-month also got similar bumps in prices. That's what their announcement was. They did the whole like, hey, the thing's always evolving. We have to increase the price. Yada yada yada. Kind of caused this influx of people being like, this is like really expensive, and it kind of shone a light on Xbox Live Gold, which for all intents and purposes seems to be just like almost useless in comparison to Game Pass at this point.
Totally.
I mean, a lot of the argument for sure is, hey, we're going to push more people onto Game Pass, but instead it just kind of like showed how bad Xbox Live Gold is, especially in a market where with like cross progression, cross saving, and like I can play the same game on my PC and I don't have to pay for gold. Like it makes gold seem less and less useful. But I mean, they make so much money on it, they're not going to stop.
Yeah.
Why
would you raised the point about them pushing people over to Game Pass and to Game Pass Ultimate, and I think that's what the play was here, was to get people onto that, because it is it's the superior version of gold. It's gold plus other things, so I think that was very much what they went for. But yeah, people were not happy, and they reversed it at like what 8:30 on a Friday night or something. Like
it was on the night. It came out
weird hours.
Yeah, reporters were
not only
happy
did they reverse
about
it,
having to do.
They actually improved the situation. So another thing that kind of got shone a light on when people were complaining is like Xbox Live Gold is the only platform that requires a payment for free-to-play games. So on PlayStation, free-to-play games are free, but if you want to play Fortnite, that's always the example, or Apex, whatever it is, on an Xbox console, you need gold still. So it makes the free-to-play game not free-to-play, basically. They reversed that. So now free-to-play games are free on Xbox. Which I guess that good for us, good move. But I bet they were not hoping to have to do that. I don't know. As more games have crossplay and whatnot, and my friends don't have to pay for online, why is gold still a thing? It seems like such an archaic service at this point. Even like you get your free games with gold, and then I have Game Pass, and I get the same number of games every week compared to once a month. Yeah, it's weird. Who knows how much longer it's gonna be around.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like now, how do they phase it out? Because I think they very much want to, but I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, it would make sense to just drop it and have it be a part of Game Pass and say, hey, maybe you need Game Pass to have online, but it's okay because the value is so good, you'll do it. But again, they're giving up $60 a year, or whatever it is. Why would they do that? Just like someone's gonna ask that question, like why should we let's talk about Vicarious Visions.
Yeah.
So most recently they came out with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2. We all love that game.
Reaction.
Yeah. They have now been folded into Blizzard, and they will be fully dedicated to working on Blizzard titles going forward, which is Like what?
Yeah.
That's weird to me. Like Vicarious Visions was like knocking it out of the park with their last few remasters. Like holy smokes, those things were selling great. They were being everyone was enjoying them quite a bit. I wanted a Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4. I was hoping that was going to come next. But I understand now they're most likely working on a Diablo 2 remaster. While Diablo 4 is also being developed. Okay.
Well, I mean, that makes sense, right? Because Vicarious Visions wouldn't be doing anything with 4, so it makes sense that they would just they would kill them by throwing them on a Diablo 2 remake, and they'd probably disassemble the team right after.
I don't know. What do you think the chances are of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 brought to you by Blizzard?
I think it's coming from someone else.
It's definitely going to be coming from someone else.
From Vicarious, it's low. Yeah.
Yeah. What a weird choice to
I think
make.
Like the rest of the internet, I cynically think this is the first step to them dying, to just being killed off. So
I think it's going to be very similar to like Raven Software. They made some very cool games. Activision took them further into their bosom and said, make Call of Duty maps. And we never heard of Raven Software again.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. This is more Activision's side than Blizzard's side. Let's be entirely real here.
Oh, totally, because Activision's already sucked the life juice out of Blizzard. Blizzard basically doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, they're pretty like together at this point. I feel like all the major heads of the Blizzard area they formed that other studio and they're making RTS games, or they're making something over there.
They all have different stuff. Now that non-competes are surely up, that's why you hear these people making new companies. They got paid out. They were either probably let go with giant packages, or they signed off a thing, left when they were able to. And so Blizzard's going to be split up into like 4 different things now. 4 different smaller companies. Which, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be great that they get to do their own
Rock
thing
and Roll
again.
Racing's coming back, baby.
Hell yeah.
Hey, we're still supposed to get Overwatch 2, So
yep.
I'm interested in that at the very least.
I'm interested in Diablo 4.
A year and a half now. When was that announcement? We're at least a year in, right?
It was the previous BlizzCon, so not 2020s, but 2019s.
So we're at a year and a half then in that case, or almost, because that's September.
Yeah, because there was no BlizzCon last year, right? I think they
no
canceled out, right? Yeah. So year and a half or so, year and a quarter or something.
I'm sad about this.
All right, well, better news for the little guy. Hitman 3 has already recouped its development cost in under a week.
That's great news. Yeah.
Well deserved. And you know that 007 game is going to do even better because it will. 007.
Yeah. They're opening up another studio, I think, just to work on that. Definitely. They're hiring another team just for that. So that's really exciting, actually.
Yeah. They're a good developer. They made a quality product. I'm happy to see them succeed.
Totally.
Yep. True. I'm so curious about that Bond game. Like, is it going to be as zany, or is the like Bond license holder is going to be like, no, you can't have him throw a banana at this guy. What are you doing? It's James Bond.
But, like, I mean, those early Bond movies are literally like, I just used an ejector seat in my car and drove it off a cliff. Like like there's a dude with a metal jaw that can bite steel. Like it's goofy as hell.
Yeah, there's a lot of slapstick in
the
Bond.
most recent ones are really not.
I know, and that's what makes me wonder, who are they using as the Bond? Is it Daniel Craig? Is it whoever's taking?
They've announced they're not doing any movie Bond. It's a completely new one.
Yeah, it's their own Bond.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good at least.
So hopefully, Idris Elba.
Like the origin of Bond.
Yeah, but that's what Craig's Bonds were.
Yeah, that's Casino Royale.
Yeah. Weird.
I'm interested because we were talking, Sean. You were saying like one of your gripes with Hitman 3 is how story focused it is, and like I do wonder, like, do we get more? Like, is this 007 game gonna lean more heavily into that? Right? Like, is it gonna be more of that as opposed to like more of the big exploration kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Well, because I think they said that it's going to be like the origins of him becoming a 00. So I would assume it's going to be more story focused. But
again, that's just Casino Royale.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially like, again, not to spoil anything, but especially like the last stage of Hitman 3 really feels like a proof of concept for a Bond game.
Yeah, I hope it's not a whole bunch of stages like that. I feel like that'd be such a loss compared to Hitman.
Yeah, considering what they're capable of doing.
Yeah.
I want make it all like Sapienza. from the first game. That's what it needs to be.
That'd be very cool. All right, small little thing. Kevin Hart is going to play Roland in the Borderlands movie.
Why?
He's got that Jumanji money, man.
I mean, I hate Kevin Hart, so I'm with John on this. I can't stand him.
He just doesn't physically fit. Like Roland's supposed to be like tall,
That it?
built.
I mean,
Kevin Hart is built.
Kevin Hart is in fantastic shape, but yes, he is like what a quarter of the height of you'd expect Roland to be.
Yeah.
Expect The Rock before Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm assuming the Rocks cost too much money for the Borderlands movie. I don't know though.
But
Well,
Kevin
they were
Hart
both in
doesn't?
Jumanji.
Yeah, they got that big Jumanji energy.
It's a good point.
Jack Black is gonna play Roland.
Let's see. He already played an old. Was he the old black man in?
It was an
Second
old
Wonder, or was
woman.
he-
It was Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, he was no, Kevin Hart. That was Kevin Hart's role.
Okay, yeah,
Jack
okay, that's
Black
what I
was
thought.
the
Because he was
cheerleader,
DeVito, like he was Danny
and
DeVito's
then
character.
yeah, I don't know. They get all mixed up a bunch in Jumanji. They swap a few times in the second
Yeah,
one.
they do.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
He's like a horse at one
That's
point
like the whole
or something.
Those movies are actually like they're fine.
Yeah, they're pretty
They're
fun.
Yeah,
totally serviceable
they're fun.
movies.
I like 'em.
There's nothing wrong with those movies.
Totally.
I don't know. For some reason, them adding Kevin Hart to this makes me think it's just going to be like another Jumanji movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's
Claptrap's going to be there, so I'm going to hate it.
they said they announced the Lilith actress, right?
Yeah, it's
Kate Blanchett.
Oh, Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett.
Yeah. I'm curious to see who else we're gonna get then for that, because that first game, who's left? It's Mordecai, and then right? I think it's
Sniper
Mordecai,
Dick.
and then the
Is it
whoever the other one
Brick?
is.
Mordecai
Mordecai
Brick
is
the
the
last two.
Brick.
Yes,
Yeah,
and then you
okay.
need Marcus,
Claptrap.
Moxie, Claptrap.
Moxie's
Yeah.
the second game.
Moxie's DLC for the first one.
Yeah.
Or was
That's
it the
true.
first one? Okay.
Yeah. So is Dr. Zed and
Yeah.
what's that game? You got General Knox, that other guy too.
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch.
yeah.
Who do they get for Brick? I feel like that'll be like the hardest person. I feel like at this point they won't do The Rock.
Oh, I was gonna go like Mickey Rourke. Like I'm thinking like Mickey Rourke, Sin City.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Mickey Rourke? I could see that.
Or Ron Perlman.
Oh yeah.
Ron
All right. I
Perlman
like
shaped though,
weird
like-
movies. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, no one's the shape of Brick. That guy is like
The Rock
he's like
is,
upside
but
down
yeah.
triangle.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have a
Yeah.
neck. And Mordecai, they get like a Jared Leto or something, right?
Yeah, Adrian Brody.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And Schwartz for Claptrap. Okay.
Yeah.
Last little story. The Discord sent us this one is that AMD basically says don't expect the shortage for consoles and the PS5, the Series X to ease up anytime soon, because they're working overtime as it is.
No.
They're aiming at a second half of 2021 before those things will be like prevalent and easily purchasable.
Damn. That sucks. I'm in the market for a new CPU sometime soon. Well, I guess I have to wait a bit longer.
Yeah. Do they? Sorry, I need to double check. This is true for both AMD and Nvidia, or like
This is
because
just a
AMD's
quote
new
from
cards
AMD.
are okay. The quote is from AMD. Okay, I got you.
But I
Because
think
I mean,
both
you
the new
know,
consoles use AMD powered their
Right,
powered
right.
products. So
but I'm saying like PC parts wise, obviously the 300 series from Nvidia has just had, you know, they've been impossible to get. But AMD's new series is it out now, or it's out relatively soon? I don't recall, but I'm curious if that's gonna see the same shortage. I guess it would if it's their stuff in
Yeah, I
consoles,
think
and they
it's the
already know
same
that's gonna
shortage.
be short.
Yeah.
it is the same shortage altogether. So I'm assuming this is directly COVID related.
Yeah, I think so.
My guess
Has to be.
Yeah,
has to be.
it's a shame.
Yeah.
I want people to play with the new toys.
New toys are very fun, that's for sure.
Yeah.
There was
It's a
a
big
great
step, too.
there was a great video, Vadi Vidya, the big Souls guy on YouTube. He had a video, he's talking about the Demon Souls remake and how like they added there's like one or two new items in there. and he was talking about like how there's like some armor set they were trying to get, and it's like, listen, I have a giant community, so I need all 3 of you who have PS5s to help solve this mystery.
Yeah, that was the door, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy how fast they figured out what to do to open that thing. Crazy.
The internet plus the Souls community, unstoppable.
The Souls community is ridiculous. Yeah.
Elden Ring is going to be deconstructed on like weekend 1.
I mean, before it's out for sure. It'll be done.
It already is.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for some news. Let's do some questions. If you would like to send questions into the show, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter. There's our Discord channel. There's John's P.O. Box, which, as you saw last week, no matter what you send there, we're going to read it. That's the promise. If you send an actual letter to John's P.O. Box, I will read. Yep. I will read this first question from Cody, who says, "What are your Hogwarts houses?"
God damn it. How many times do I have to say I don't know anything about Harry Potter? Let me look up the houses here. Or can you guys give me an idea?
Is there a way? There's a personality test you can do, but I think you have to sign up for a Pottermore account to figure it out.
Okay, I did that some time ago when Pottermore launched, and so from that I know that I am Ravenclaw. But that's all I got.
What are the basic? What are the too long didn't read or whatever for them?
This is the important part. What's your favorite color?
It's
red,
purple.
because then you're a Gryffindor.
No, it's purple.
Purple, you're a Ravenclaw. You're just like me. John, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Yeah, you're also a Ravenclaw. There we go. 4
4
Ravenclaws. That's how you figure it out.
Okay, that was easy. Wow.
Okay.
We did it. Yay!
Lineback writes in, is there a discontinued soda that you want back? No.
I don't drink soda, so no.
I don't really drink soda, but...
Bring back Mr. Pibb.
I don't really drink soda either. Is Surge still around? I remember liking Surge.
I think Surge is still around.
Okay, what about Mellow Yellow? That's still around?
I don't know why you would need that, though. It's just Mountain Dew, right?
Yeah.
Just get Mountain Dew. There's a new Mountain Dew. There's like a watermelon one.
Yeah.
Like, just came out.
What?
Yeah.
With seeds.
I don't know.
Finally.
I'm trying to think, like, it... Because they brought back, like vanilla Coke. I mean, I really liked that back when I was a big pop drinker.
Yeah, vanilla Coke was okay, I guess.
The thing I think of that like didn't come out was like Pepsi Blue, but I didn't like that when that was a thing anyway, so I don't really have an answer.
Crystal Pepsi or whatever came out for a limited time again. It was whatever. Like, it wasn't anything
That's
special.
fine. Like, it's cool to be like, look, it looks like Sprite.
Sure.
And then you're just like, it's like Pepsi. Oh, we got to follow. Oh, sorry, this is not my question.
No, there's another question here. What does a game have to do /be for you to have what you feel is a strong opinion on it?
Has to be good or bad.
Yeah.
I was talking about this on stream last night. The thing I said was it's the worst when a game is middling, because it's easy to praise a good game and it's easy to hate on a bad game, but it sucks talking about a middling game.
Totally.
Yep. But as long as it's like, listen, as long as it's going for something and trying to do something, then there's probably something you can say about it. But there is a lot of also rans and like just very derivative things out there that is, Steam is full of crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, if it's trying like it had this new mechanic, the rest of the game was middling, but this one mechanic was kind of cool. I might remember it for that, as they did this thing, and then another company did it way better.
That's why I remember Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor. Nemesis system, super
totally.
cool. The rest of it, completely forgettable.
Totally.
Sure.
Yep. The pedigree of the game too can make me have a strong opinion of it. Like, I know this team can do better. This game sucks. Like, I know they can do better. Or this team like hit it out of the park this time. Like, I can't believe they were able to get it together or something like that. I could have a strong opinion that way too.
I could also say if it's like completely unknown and then it does something really cool, that would like make my opinion stronger, because it's like, this came out of nowhere. Who are these people?
And for like ever, first impressions are huge for sure.
Yeah. All right, John, you want to read this next one?
Yep. Suka writes in and says, "You're standing at the pearly gates. St. Peter is there and he looks disappointed. You walk up and he starts listing off all of your sins. Wait a second. Throwing a baby penguin off a mountain? Blowing up a city with a nuke? Forcing animals to fight each other for your own gain? You haven't done any of those things. That's not right. He's considering video game sins. How do you convince St. Peter that you aren't a mass murderer?
Fuck.
Well, can you even describe a video game to someone who was around before they existed?
Well, I think you got to do what good have you done in a video game, right?
Yeah,
if he's coming at you with the video game excuse, you got to counter with the video game.
Tell him that I played the PS2 minigame collection, the Bible game, which is a terrible, terrible game.
No, don't even put St. Peter through the Bible game. That's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
I think there's like 4 total mini games in that thing. It's not great.
It's bad.
Glad someone else knows what I'm talking about, though. That's one of those things where I'm like, no one else has played this. No one knows, but
I play that within the Did you play the Game Boy Advance version, which is Diablo?
No, just the PS2 one, which is like Mario Party, but awful.
It's like a weird top-down, like adventure sort of hack and slashy Diablo thing for the Game Boy Advance. It's terrible. It's even worse.
You choose your class, be a prophet or a shepherd, that kind of thing.
It feels like you've only chose Jehovah's Witness every time. It really just feels like that's all you chose.
Yeah. I guess I read next. Let's see. Hebrew Lantern asks, how do you decide what to play when you have a billion things to play? Don't have a fortune cookie to pick. That's a good question. Because analysis paralysis is very real.
Sure.
Hopefully if it's work related or like something for the channel, then I know to focus in on that for a bit, right? Because like that's what I'm covering.
Yeah.
But like on my own time, this is a very difficult thing to do. And I usually just fall back into like a backlog game or just like, we were talking about Game Pass a lot earlier. I go to something like that or PlayStation Plus or something where I can just mindlessly just pick something up for a little bit. And if I don't stick with it, that's fine because it was free to some degree, right? So that's usually where I fall.
Well, let's go deeper though. You said just backlog game or Game Pass. How do you pick the backlog game? That's the thing, right? I know for myself, a lot of the times I'll pick the short ones.
Sure.
I can just get this one out of the way. I can knock down a few of these.
That's
pretty hard for me to be like, all right, guys, I'm going to start the new Assassin's Creed and play 80 hours of it right now.
That's a really good point. I also personally I have this. So I don't know if this is the case for y'all, but I have this thing where I depending on what platforms I have available to me, I kind of just like having an ongoing thing on each. Like Bloodborne's going on my PS5, Hitman 3's on the PC, Cyber Shadows on the Switch. I kind of like having just depends on what's within arm's reach at the moment that I'll just grab. / I also usually like having kind of an RPG in the background kind of usually going, something I can always just pick up for a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely have I always want to have a Switch game. If I'm going to pick up my Switch, there is something that I'm kind of consistently playing on the Switch.
Yeah.
I'm the same way with my Switch. Everything's on it, so it's just if I want to narrow it down, just take that with me somewhere.
It's usually Picross on the Switch for me, but yeah, I'm the same way.
So you're saying when you have a billion things to play, you just play Picross? It's always default to Picross.
No, my answer is boring. It's whatever I feel like at the time. I feel like doing a little bit of this. I'll just do it.
Hebrew Lantern also says related-ish follow-up. When you want to listen to music, do you A, listen to an album start to end, possibly pick up where you left off next time? B, pick and choose songs one at a time? C, have a set playlist and play it in order? D, have a playlist you play shuffled? E, use the radio feature on whatever your music player of choice is? Or F, other? If other, please explain. For me, 99% of the time, I'm choosing an album and I'm playing it. I'm very adamant about the artist created this album in this way for a reason. So this is what I will listen to. And if if I'm done and I stop and I come back to it, that's fine. But I'm all about the album as a medium. It's crafted. You wouldn't just pick random scenes from a movie, right? You sit down and watch the movie. So I feel the same way about music albums. On the rare occasion when I just want to hear a song, I will pull that up. But most of the time, I'm all about the albums.
Sure. This depends on
so
what
not
I'm doing.
like that with the album.
This depends on what I'm doing.
I'm 99% of the time I am D. I have a playlist and I play it shuffled.
I do that too because when I'm listening to music, I'm working on something, so it's background noise to me. But like if I'm in a car driving somewhere, albums start to end for sure.
I feel bad. I've got like 4 different systems depending on what I'm doing.
Sure. Yeah.
If I'm sitting at my computer, I'm gonna look up an artist I want to listen to, pick the first song of theirs I know that I like, and listen to that. If it's part of an album, I'll let it go after that and skip any songs I really hate. If I'm driving in a car, currently what I do with my iPod is that I'm going through my artists A through Z because there's a lot of albums on there I haven't listened to in a long time.
Sure.
So, or sorry, I'm on albums A to Z, not artists A to Z. So I'm on
That's like
S
same thing
now. I think I'm on the Strokes right now, so I'm on S.
Okay.
But I've been just doing that, like listening to albums and listening through, even if it's songs like I know I don't like.
Sure.
If I'm driving,
one thing I would love to do in the future is like if I have like a long road trip planned, is just start at like the top. I'll just go to like the songs list and just like try and get through all of it, just kind of in order.
Yeah.
As someone who recently made a 9-hour drive, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Spotify has like a shuffle album option. If you do that, you're a monster. If you're shuffling one album, you're no. We will have words.
Oh, that's me. I'm shuffling all the time. Every day I'm shuffling.
But I'm saying like for one album,
everything.
like
one album,
a playlist,
I'm shuffling it.
Ah, dude, no. Again, like that's like sitting down to read that's like you grab a book and you're like, I'm gonna read chapter 10 today, and tomorrow maybe chapter 2. Like
the thing with this scenario is, as I know this book so well, it's like I want to listen to this part that's awesome, but also the book doesn't make sense because that's like a narrative, whereas the songs are not connected.
I suppose it depends on what kind of music you normally listen to too, because like I would say like most of what I listen to, it is it's crafted in that, like I said, in an album order for a reason. But like there is stuff that isn't like that, right? There is stuff where it's just this album is just basically a collection of singles. So I guess it depends on the artist you like too, to some degree.
You like prog rock, don't you? Yeah. All right.
More of a Radiohead guy.
I still remember trying to get through
favorite Radiohead album.
Like Green Day. Go ahead.
Good question. I think there's an argument to be made for any of them, honestly. But like gut check, probably In Rainbows. Easy answer, but probably In Rainbows.
No, that's viable. I'll accept that.
Yeah. But I do think there's an argument to be made for literally any of them. Like I all think they have a lot of merit.
Okay.
Anyway,
are you gonna share your favorite Radiohead album?
I mean, the one I listened to the most is probably OK Computer, but the one that got me into them was the Bends. So, like, what do you go with? The one that was funnest to listen to in the car was Kid A.
Piss everyone off.
What's that?
You go with the best of Radiohead and piss everyone off for not having a proper stance.
True.
Would piss me off if anyone said that was like their favorite for any artist. If someone said my favorite album is the greatest hits one, I'd be like, fuck you.
There was, I think it was the most recent update to like Rolling Stone's top 500, and there are multiple greatest hits on that list. And everybody was like, "What are you doing? Like this defeats the purpose of making your list."
How do you feel about like a good live album though? Because that's kind of like a greatest hits, but it's chosen by the artist.
That's like its own beast to some degree, though.
Yeah. Because like they all the songs sound different because they're live versions. And in my opinion, some of them sound worse for it. It's rare I hear a version I like better.
It depends on the artist.
I like the live version of True Love Waits that Radiohead did. Like that's one of the few examples I can think of. I prefer the live version.
Both of their From the Basements are really good. I like those a lot.
When you listen to like Justice's live album where they remixed all their songs, and it's like, oh, these are so much better. Yeah.
No, there's like one track I like, and it's Phantom 1.5, and that's it.
I like all of them. They're so good.
I'll rather listen to Actual Cross.
Listen to both. Listen to both. Not above that. I'm gonna read this next question though. Rinku writes in and says, "What's a game that you beat not because you wanted to, not even because you liked it, but because you ended up at a point where you're like, no, fuck you, game. You're not winning against me."
That's just me. That's just me.
There've been a lot.
Most NES games growing up, right? Probably at some point. Just like, no, like I don't even want to finish Battletoads because this level sucks, but I'm going to.
I got close to this on Super Meat Boy Forever, but I did just say, I'm not having fun anymore, and I didn't finish it.
I was literally like this with Crackdown 1 like a month ago.
Sure.
Okay.
I think one of the most prominent ones for me, though, is probably Mass Effect Andromeda. I was like,
you finished it.
I will. Well, okay. Finish is a strong word. It was plow through, no side stories. Let's just see how this like no side quests. Let's just see how the main plot ends, and then I'm never thinking about this again because I just really didn't. It wasn't. The thing about Andromeda is it's not outright bad. It is just so mediocre, especially compared to what that series was. That I had no desire to put real time into it. Although it was fun making the most like bizarre like freakazoid character and then having the whole plot point being you're a twin. Am I? Let's see the other, please.
Yeah, that game sucks. As soon as I met PB, I stopped playing it. I hate that character so much.
I don't remember a single character other than my own like rider twin. That was it. I remember nothing else.
I couldn't tell you much about that game.
Yep.
The
one
robots,
of the ships
right?
disappears because they were setting up for the DLC or something. Don't remember.
Yeah. I want to play through it one day.
Yeah.
All right, Paul, you got this next one.
Junkie GS writes, if you could add a completion bonus to any game, which game would you pick and what would you add? Completion bonus. Okay.
Like get everything and you get something extra for it?
Yeah, I guess
that's
so.
how I'm interpreting it, yeah. That it's hard because you don't want it to be like too good of a thing because you're going to be so done with that game, right?
Well,
potentially.
I mean, I revisit games, so no.
I guess I'm just thinking to myself, like if they added a triple jump, you got a triple jump if you collected everything, I'd be like, I wanted this 20 hours ago.
So you would just be mad. It's like, why didn't you
I'd be like, I have nothing to do with this triple jump. This is awesome.
Uh-huh.
Stuff of Sunny said Mario Sunshine, a deluxe flood with all the nozzles and infinite water. That's pretty good. I think any Mario games are a good candidate for this because typically the 100% completion is like, good job. Here's a star. Here's a certificate. I'm like,
here's
thanks.
some sunglasses.
Yeah, exactly. So like some sort of like I would have loved it was like 100% Sunshine and surprised Bob on Battlefield is in this. You just had to finish the whole game,
Isn't that what I think Sonic Adventure 2 did that? Like you unlocked Green Hill Zone if you did everything in the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. I played a lot of that game as a kid. I guess I never 100%ed it.
I like this idea of infinite water giving you like unlimited ammo or whatever, because that would break the game, but it's like okay because I don't need a challenge anymore. I did all the challenge. Sure. It would just be kind of fun.
Yeah, unlimited of a power weapon or like invincibility. Those are like the easiest and most fun ones. This is the way to break the game after you've played through it.
Can confirm. Have played Resident Evil games. It's fun going back through stuff with infinite ammo. Add Metal
Gear, Chicago typewriter and all those other sweet guns.
Infinite rocket launcher.
Yeah, can confirm. It's fun.
Huh? I had no idea Green Hill Zone was in Sonic Adventure 2. No idea. I played so much. I guess I just was never very good at it as a kid. That's cool.
Okay, that game's bad.
Yeah, but when it's one of like 2 GameCube games you have, you play it.
Well, you don't have a choice. Yeah, as a kid, you don't have a choice.
Yeah, when it's Sonic Adventure 2 or Amazing Island, you're bouncing between the two an awful lot.
I mean, there's a point where all parents need to sit their kids down and tell them about Sonic Adventure 2.
I did have there's a time my brother and I we convinced our like I don't remember whether it was our mom or dad to let us get another GameCube memory card because we ran out of space, and as such we had to let one of the chows go in Sonic Adventure 2. My brother was very little at the time and it made him cry like all night, and so they were like, we'll get another memory card so you don't have to do that again.
That's a great story.
Good.
Oh man.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
It is. Yeah. BGC Kenny writes in and says, John complained that the difficulty of the Spider-Man DLC spikes up from the base game, which I agree with. I'd argue that it should be as hard, if not a little easier, than the end game for the base game. I noticed that whenever there's a bit more game after the final boss or area, it's always a little harder. How come games rarely, if ever, give you a victory lap? A time after the game is over for you to demonstrate your mastery over areas or enemies that are like 10 times lower than where you are just for fun. I've done the challenge, now let me go hog wild. I feel like this kind of plays off of the last thing we just said, actually.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, the easy answer is a lot of games just scale the difficulty, and that's why it feels like that.
Totally.
But I was mentioning
it's interesting
Bloodborne
looking
earlier.
at the DLC though.
Yeah, I
DLC
completely agree with this. By the way, this is yes, correct. This was very true for those games, or for that game rather. But I mean, you do have something like I mentioned Bloodborne earlier. Souls games, you can go back and just stomp over earlier enemies because they're designated by area. They don't level with you, so like you absolutely can do that should you choose to.
It's kind of interesting with those games too,
mind,
because it's you as the player leveling up in that instance and knowing how to play that game. So the victory lap is you just like playing a lot of it and knowing how to take care of every situation. It's kind of a weird situation in that case.
Yeah,
for sure.
well, especially with Sekiro, because Sekiro, you the player are just getting better. Like your actual upgrades are so minimal compared to just your skill improving.
Yeah, for sure. It's also kind of interesting that he's talking about Spider-Man, because Miles Morales kind of does have a victory lap thing where it ends and then you go around collecting voicemails from a character in the game. And it's just kind of you going around this city one last time. And I think that's just kind of an interesting way they did that. But yeah, that DLC is garbage for Spider-Man. Holy crap, I didn't like that.
Which sucks because it's the only time to put Black Cat in like a sensible place and like
the challenges from what Screwball, I think was her name, were very difficult.
I fucking hated Screwball.
The platinum, the ultimate level like rewards for them, or the like ultimate scores and times were like very difficult to pull off.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be as bad if you didn't hear going like
photo bomb,
photo bomb, constantly.
Yeah.
It's a cool concept for a villain, though. Like, I gotta give him that. All right. Rasterman7 asks, what was the last edutainment game that made you feel like you learned something by the end of it? Interesting. Treasure Math Storm.
I can't remember the last edutainment game I played would have been.
The first thing that comes to mind is Treasure Math Storm. That's all I can think of.
Putt saves the zoo because I learned cars can run zoos.
I don't remember it now because it's been years. Legitimately, I learned hiragana and katakana from those games, like how to read it. So there was that, but I haven't used it. So
I guess for a serious answer, probably Carmen Sandiego, because
I was about to say the same thing.
They always have some good knowledge in that.
Totally.
Yeah, those are fun. Clue Finders were pretty cool. Clue Finders, I think it's the 3rd grade one where they go to like the mysterious island with like the monkey people. It's a good game.
Definitely played some like Magic School Bus game, but I didn't pay attention to anything going on and just played it like a platformer. So I didn't learn much.
Yeah.
That's the only answer I got.
What about like a Jeopardy game or something like that? Just some trivia nonsense. Learn some like random.
Did you see
facts.
There's a thing now where you can play along with previously aired episodes of Jeopardy?
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and
real
like
cool.
It compares your score to the 3 contestants at the end of the episode to see if you would have won.
There's no way I would win. I don't even want to try, really, but it'd be interesting to know.
Cool concept.
Totally.
All right, last question from Dead in Sky. Who do you want to be the new voice of Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh yeah, because Roger Craig Smith announced he retired today from Sonic.
Oh, that's right.
Ben Schwartz is like the easy answer, but I don't want to say that.
Oh, okay.
Gilbert
I mean, that's
Gottfried.
the answer.
I mean, that's another easy answer for sure. Yeah.
Danny DeVito. Let's get all of them out of the way.
Yeah, get them all out of the way real quick. Yeah.
I mean, it's Ben
Alan
Schwartz.
Alda.
Yeah.
Oh man, I actually would want that. That would be great.
Yeah.
This is another joke one, but I would be for it. Patrick Whataburger.
Okay.
Patrick Warburton would be great.
It would be
as
pretty
Sonic.
good.
I'm
He'd be great.
Tails, let's go run.
Gotta
Pretty
go
good.
fast. Oh, that'd be great. I mean, honestly, one of the two main guys behind Venture Brothers, now that I'm thinking of it, Patrick Warburton, could probably do a pretty decent job.
Now, okay.
I
John
think
H.
his voice would be too
Benjamin.
intense.
Love John H. Benjamin to do it.
I feel like it's so much easier to come up with joke ones than actual ones. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
like what is Sonic's voice basically? Like a bratty teenager, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I can't think of a lot of like teen actors off the top. Zac Efron, is he still working?
Yeah, he's still working, but he's definitely
Okay.
not a teen anymore.
That's true. All right, that's going to do it for questions. Again, if you want to send in a question for next week, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, our Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What's your game of the week? I didn't explain this to Tony. Out of all the games you played this week, what's the best one? What's your game of the week?
I mean, I guess I just gotta say Bloodborne. Because that
Right.
game's a masterpiece. And I was playing it like a couple hours ago.
I'm going to give mine to Hitman 3.
I'm gonna give mine a Touhou Spell Bubble.
I mean, I'll say Cyber Shadow because I haven't finished the medium, and
You're
I
not
feel
going to say
bad.
Donut County?
I feel bad that 3 of us played Cyber Shadow. None of us are gonna say it.
Enjoyed it, but listen, I also played Bloodborne, and that's a hard one to beat.
You also played
ever
Hitman
in my
3.
mind. I actually have not touched Hitman 3 in a couple days, so I couldn't, in fairness, say I played it this week.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
All right, and with that, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm not gonna say Donut County. I was just gonna answer your question. It's cute, but it's too short.
Okay. That's gonna pretty much do it. If you're a Patreon subscriber, stay tuned because we're doing our bonus show of Call of the Sea after this. In relation to our Patreon, the February game has been announced, and it is Cyber Shadow, so we'll be talking in depth about that at the end of the month. And once again, I want to thank Tony for being here, and if you want, again, plug your stuff for everyone who made it to the end of the show.
Well, yeah, thank you all so much for having me. Yeah, so as I said, I'm running a YouTube channel called Framework. It's a video essay channel, so if that's what you're into, I think I got some pretty fun ones going on. Covered a bunch of different games. I play like a new kind of dumb character every time too. So easiest way to get to that is just tinyurl.com/frameworkyt. That'll take you right there. On Twitter, it's at framework_video, and I am personally at Chaingun Pope on Twitter. So yeah, if you're listening to this show, then you like games. I like them too. So let's let's hang out and talk about them some more. There's another place you can do that.
Right on. All right, and that's gonna do it. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Nice meeting you, dude.
Thank you.